We, the people of Detroit, is dedicated to community coalition building and to the provision of resources that inform, train, and mobilize the citizens of Detroit and beyond to improve their quality of life. As a community-based grassroots organization, we, the people of Detroit, aim to inform, educate, and empower Detroit residents on imperative issues surrounding civil rights, land, water, education, and the democratic process. For more information, call 844-42-WATER, 844-42-WATER, or email wethepeopleofdetroit.com.
Wake up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson, and this is your wake-up call.
When a brown girl child is born, the earth shifts. The sun is at half-mast. The moon waits for her first cry. The ancestors set the table. The flowers turn red as blood. This is your land, continent daughter, with tree trunk legs and branches for arms. This is your soil. Black and fertile as your eyes facing an apartheid Jim Crow current past memory. Some of us begin the removal of shackles at birth. We grow into the armor of struggle quickly. We brew courage in our tea, blend bravery into our Sunday dinners. Joanne Watson, you understand nation building is not a part-time job. This dedicated life is sometimes lonely, a vulnerable choice, but it is the only way you know how to operate. You are wired for the movement. In your black women bones, even when tired, still fighting, still organizing, still singing morning spirituals. You are born to lead, even in your own family. The eldest of children.
Wake up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson. This is your wake-up call. It's such a blessing to be here today and here with one of our activist sister queens in the community, Sister Tahira Ahmed. Woo! Isn't she beautiful?
It's my pleasure.
My. She is one who's very active with the Black Legacy Coalition, and she's been our spokesperson for media, and she's going to help us understand a Kwanzaa event that's coming up, and she's also going to talk to us about other initiatives that are part of the Black Legacy Coalition agenda. I want to welcome my sister, Tahira Ahmed, and I want to thank her for being a special guest, and she's been a special guest on many programs. She's not shy. Telling the story of the Black Legacy Coalition and why we've come together. She is a person who deeply rooted in the consciousness of our people. She's been reared with an understanding of liberation and why we all need to have that as our first order of business. And I remember a few years ago when I called upon her to help me host the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America National Convention that was in Detroit. And we had Minister Farrakhan and Judge Greg Mathis and Congressman John Conyers.
Yes.
That was his last public appearance, my. And we were blessed to have, at that time, Black-owned Hotel St. Regis as our hotel venue. And my sister came to my rescue and was there to help welcome all these people from all over the country as they arrived in Detroit. And I just want to thank her for being such a sweet, wonderful, warm, hospitable Detroiter who is also rooted in consciousness. So thank you so much.
Thank you. This is a complete honor. I'm telling you, it's like going to Africa and meeting Queen Mother Moore,
Bless your heart.
or meeting Winnie Mandela.
Oh, mercy.
More so, Winnie Mandela. Black power to you.
Oh, well, listen, I return that greeting to you, and I thank you for being here. And I also thank you for the exuberance and the energy you always bring to our movement. You bring that to every meeting, every activity, every event. We can count on you.
Thank you so much, Queen Mother. And this is a blessing. Your show, and this is an honor to me. And for Kwanzaa, you gave me such a great accolade. And I can name a few people that doesn't feel that way.
Well, one of the things about Kwanzaa, and I'm, really feeling very blessed. I've been celebrating Kwanzaa as long as there's been Kwanzaa.
Yes.
I'm blessed to know Dr. Maulana Karenga, who calls me his sister.
Okay.
I call him my brother, him and his wonderful wife, Tia Moya, who is also my sister, and we've had him in Detroit many times to speak on Kwanzaa. He was also the Minister of Culture for one of my great mentors, Dr. Mario Bedelli.
Okay.
For a while, he was known as Richard Henry, along with his brother, Reverend Milton Henry, in Detroit. There were no real middle ground for Mario Bedelli and Gaidio Bedelli. They were straight no chaser activists,
Yes, like you.
revolutionaries, and they helped to rear me in terms of helping me understand that my commitment must be to global African liberation.
Yes.
And I'm just very blessed to have had their engagement in my life. I owe both of them poured into me, and I do my best to try to honor their support by pouring into others like you.
Yes, and you do a fabulous job.
I thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank
and
you.
we feel you, uplift you, and promote you.
I appreciate that. There is a Kwanzaa coming up at the historic King Solomon Baptist Church.
Yes, yes. We were blessed to be able to. Reverend Williams, thank you. God bless you.
That's Reverend Charles Williams, and of course, Kwanzaa celebrated the day after Christmas,
Yes.
December 26th, all the way through January 1st, 7 days.
7 days of upliftment, promotion of our people, our
Yes.
principles.
Yes,
What we must be about.
that's right.
Every year, all day long.
That's right.
We must be about Umoja.
That's
we must
right.
be Kuji Chagalia.
Come on now.
We must be Kauma. We must be creative.
That's right.
In our way of activism.
That's right.
And we're winning all
That's
the
right.
time. We're winning.
That's right. That's right.
We think we're not winning. We hear all this doom and gloom, but look at us. Post 450 years of enslavement and post-slavery.
Say that.
Look at us. We look beautiful.
Yes, we do.
And we're creating, like Dr. Karenga did, creating holidays.
That's right.
That cultural
Yes.
ceremonies,
Yes.
rituals that promote and uplift us and keep us moving in
That's
the
right.
right direction. It's liberation and self-determination.
My. And the historic King Solomon Church is going to be the venue. It'll be the location. And all the programs start at 6 p.m.
Yes, 6 to 8.
King Solomon
9.
Baptist Church is on 14th and Marquette.
Yes.
And it's also, historically, it's a place where the magnificent Malcolm X presented Message to the Grassroots
Yes,
and the
yes.
Ballad of the Bullet.
Mm-hmm.
My.
People need to pull that up and listen to those speeches because it's germane today.
Hey,
Okay.
it is germane
Yes,
today.
it is very germane. We have the same situation.
That's right.
And Malcolm X was so tremendous. He's the leader of all African people all over the all over the continent and all over the world.
We love Malcolm X,
Yes.
and what an honor to know that for a significant period he was in Detroit. In
Yes.
fact, his nickname was Detroit
yeah,
Red.
Detroit Red.
And he had an office in Detroit across from my high school, Central High School.
Oh, I got married at the Mosque number 1.
Come on now.
Okay.
He had an office with the support of Gaidio Bedelli, Reverend Milton Henry, who was his attorney
Wow.
on Broad Street in Linwood.
Isn't that beautiful?
My. So when you think about Detroit, I'm always struck by the very special nuances that make Detroit so unique. No other city
None.
can claim the origin of the Nation of Islam.
Yes.
And the shrine of the Black Madonna.
And-
the Republic of New
Yes,
Africa.
ma'am.
Come on, somebody.
Now, all 3 of those put together, man.
That's it.
That's why we can't be broken.
That's it.
That's why everybody comes here. It's like a Mecca here
That's
in
right.
Detroit.
That's right.
That's the Mecca of Black power.
That's right. That's right. And the Black arts movement. When you look at the significance of Motown, that's
Yeah.
another part of the Black arts movement. Music is art.
Yes.
Aretha Franklin.
Wow.
When one considers the greatness that there's something special about Detroit, Anita Baker and the Winans, and all that has made up the culture of Detroit, there's just no place like Detroit.
No place like it. And even with the gentrification attempt,
Yes.
it can't be done
No.
because the history is so deep.
It
It's so
is.
great. And it's so many of us that it has touched and that is carrying the torch.
That's right.
To keep it alive and keep our young people. That's our greatest challenge, I think, now is get our young people in step
Yes.
with our elders.
That's
with
true.
Old Delhi, that's why we created the African-centered education.
That's right.
In Detroit Public Schools, because we knew, and what we said, we didn't want a Black history class, a Black history this, or Black history that. We wanted African-centered
Yes.
education.
You better say it.
Inculcated throughout the curriculum that is both in, when you go to the science class, you're looking at Lewis Latimer, who
Oh, say it.
created the filament in
That's
the
right.
light bulb
That's
and make
right.
it long-lasting. So today we're looking at the brother that created the cell phone.
That's right.
So when we're going into science, mathematics, the all of the arts,
That's right.
everything in school, excuse me, writing, all of that, how
Goes
could
right back to Africa.
How could we not know that Langston Hughes, not study Langston Hughes, if we're going into
You better say it.
literature, and so we said we wanted African-centered education all throughout
That's
the
right.
public school system.
Because they did not, and typically, it ought to be a part of education. You shouldn't even have to take Black history to find out that W.B. Du Bois was the founder of what is called sociology. He did the first social survey instrument. So I should not have had to take Black history at the University of Michigan to find out about W.B. Du Bois creating that first social study survey, because that's the bottom line of all
Yes.
sociology now. But you don't learn about him in Sociology 101.
No,
you have to take Black history to find that out.
If we going
Something
into,
wrong with that picture.
If we going into psychology, we need to be talking about Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
That's it. That's it. That's
So
it.
that's what we're saying. It's not Black history, but way back when.
That's right.
It's about African-centered education, back when, today, and tomorrow.
And we need to protect our history and make sure that the history is properly addressed, even as we're going forward. I was stunned this year in March, which is Women's History Month, when I asked a college class at Wayne County Community College of English 101, were there any outstanding women they could think of from the 20th century? And I said, what about Irma Henderson? They didn't know who Irma Henderson was. These were all Detroit Public School graduates. Did not know who Irma Henderson was. She just left here in 2009. I said, my goodness. So, of course, I gave them her history. But it made me realize that the students in Detroit Public Schools, that at the least Detroit students, 12th graders, ought to mandated to read her autobiography down through the years.
Yes.
And Coleman Young's, the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young's autobiography, Hard Stuff. Because they're not ancient history, they're current history.
Yes.
And they were the most significant man and woman of the 20th century.
Yes.
For Detroit.
Yes,
And that all of our young people should know their history, including the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young and the Honorable Irma L. Henderson. It was shocking to me.
That's why we mandated it in Detroit Public Schools. But as you know, the fake bankruptcy occurred, and we got these emergency managers.
Illegal.
And they illegal.
Unconstitutional.
And, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Where's all these constitutional pimps for America? They should have been appalled that Detroit was stolen from the people, the indigenous people of Detroit, with a fake bankruptcy. How you going to be big bankrupt?
And you can't be bankrupt if you have an asset that's $60 billion called the Water Department.
Right.
Detroit was never bankrupt. It was never bankrupt. There was a lie told in order to accomplish the means
of stealing our assets.
Come on, somebody.
Now, you know the state owed us $238 million through
Still owe
revenue.
it.
It's still owed?
Still owe it. Revenue sharing still owed. And the Michigan Municipal Association, which is not left or progressive, it's just a regular municipal group, they learned that the state of Michigan owes this city, $731 million. That was 7 years ago.
The audience ought to read a good article. Why Chicago won't go bankrupt and Detroit didn't have to.
Never had to.
Never had to, because we weren't bankrupt, like
No,
you were saying.
no.
That was a lie that was sold, and it's still being
I've
sold.
said that every day at the council table.
Okay.
As they were extortioning money from the city that belonged to the citizens.
Yes, ma'am. That's why you are Shiro.
Well,
Because who else can we point to? I mean, we're not going to allow our children to forget about Irma Henderson,
My
and
Lord.
definitely won't allow them to forget about you, Queen Mother,
Oh,
because you
thank
are our staff right
thank you.
now.
But the Honorable Irma L. Henderson and the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young clearly were part of the significant history of the 20th century of Detroit. And the fact that our children, well, I bear witness that these students I was teaching English to never heard of Irma Henderson. And that was this year.
Sad.
So that is a clear evidence, a demonstration that we must do better.
Yes. Yes.
We must hold the elected school board accountable
Yes, ma'am.
for making sure that our young people know their history.
Yes, well, you know, the school system was hijacked, and it's still hijacked, even with this board here. And when they hijacked our school system, they stole our radio station. We had 90.9 FM, now it's CJR. It was 90.9 FM WDTR. I produced a program
sure did.
called The African Worldview.
Yes.
Brother Mzee Nabawi produced Word Up.
That's right.
Brother Malik Yakini had a show.
That's
And
right.
we were playing tapes by Leonard Jeffrey, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. We were
Dr.
playing,
J.
yes, and his wife, and
Dr. Rosalind Jeffries.
Yes, right, Dr. Rosalind Jeffries. We were playing Dr. Yosef Ben
Yes.
Yochanan, Egyptologist.
And
who-
Professor James Small.
Yes. We had him on our show
Yeah,
live.
yeah.
We weren't playing a tape on that. But see, that kind of information was dangerous for our children.
My.
Not because we're promoting insurrection, which in a way, when you free your mind, you are promoting insurrection.
Well, you're promoting liberation.
Yes, and that's insurrection according to our enemies, of course.
Liberation.
Yes, we were promoting liberation, and we
Absolutely.
talked about melanin.
Come on now.
Which is more powerful than we realize. And our children got a sense of pride when we taught these things all throughout
we don't
the
even know
schools.
the power we have.
And they stopped fighting, like the fighting that we're seeing now. It was a beautiful thing. And we don't have to sit back and say, well, that was back in the days. No, we have the power to reinstitute and reinvent it.
That's right. That's right. We're going to take a short break, and I want to thank our sponsor, We the People of Detroit. I also want to thank the wonderful people at Wayne Metro Lifeline for providing an access to all of our people in the city of Detroit who are water insecure to get their delinquent bills wiped out, erased, if they sign up before December 31st for a wonderful program, Lifeline. They call 313-386-9727. It will enroll them, and they will have their bill wiped away. We want you to do that. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this.
Listen up, Detroit. From now until the end of the year, citizens who are having trouble paying their water bill can sign up for a Lifeline program. Detroit Lifeline will eliminate whatever you owe on your water bill and also set up a new affordable rate. But you must act now. We all need water to live. Yet water shutoff put the health of all Detroiters at risk. To sign up, contact Wayne Metro at 313-386-9727. According to Water Department Director Gary Brown, they will cancel any existing arrears and lower your monthly rate when you enroll. Detroit residents enrolled in the Lifeline plan will not be in jeopardy of water shutoff. The moratorium on water shutoff will end on December 31st. Detroiters in the need of water assistance should enroll in the Lifeline plan by contacting Wayne Metro, paid for by We the People of Detroit.
You ready to put your podcast on iHeartRadio? Yes, your podcast on iHeartRadio. What about Alexa, Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, Android, or iPhone? Plus live TV streaming. Get your podcast seen and heard all over the world. Call 313-868-6612. Pre-recorded shows are accepted to be archived. This is a WHPR distribution platform. Download the app from the App Store. Go to WHPRTV.com. Channels available for lease 24/7 on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV. Coming soon, subscription and pay-per-view.
Also,
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM WGPR HD2. RadioWeCanSee.com.
We, the People of Detroit, is dedicated to community coalition building and to the provision of resources that inform, train, and mobilize the citizens of Detroit and beyond to improve their quality of life. As a community-based grassroots organization, We, the People of Detroit, aim to inform, educate, and empower Detroit residents on imperative issues surrounding civil rights, land, water, education, and the democratic process. For more information, call 844-42-WATER, 844-42-WATER, or email wethepeopleofdetroit.com.
Wake up, Detroit. This is your wake-up call. I'm Joanne Watson, and we're here with our wonderful Queen sister, Tahira Ahmed, who's going to talk to us about the impact of Kwanzaa on her life. As most of you know, Kwanzaa is celebrated from December 26th until January 1st, and this year, many of the activist Pan-African nationalist organizations are coming together to host Kwanzaa at the historic King Solomon Church on 14th and Marquette. I want our sister, who is a long distance runner in the movement, to talk to us about what Kwanzaa has meant to her.
Well, Kwanzaa, excuse me, offers the ceremonies, the, the principles that we all live by, like umoja.
Yes,
It means unity.
that's right.
And I've been unifying our community against the oppression that we face daily.
Yes.
Because I've been here long enough to know what they've been using, the tactics that they've been using to
Yes.
have our elders and queens like you and the brothers like Chokwe Lumumba
My.
and Kwame Kenyatta
Mercy.
to help us, and Dr. Ben and Dr. John Henry Clark
Mercy.
unify us with our history.
They were great elders.
And also Kujichagulia, which is self-determination. You cannot have self-determination without knowing who you are.
That's right.
Without knowing where we've been. Enslavement was tremendous in terms of how it destroyed us from within and without. And self-determination has always been our goal.
That's right.
So, we want to define who we are. We want to protect our nation. We want to have our own nation.
And when you consider that Dr. Maulana Karenga, who was the creator of Kwanzaa, actually
Excuse me.
traveled to our homeland. He traveled to the motherland and traveled to the continent in order to do research and develop the principles. So they did not just come out of scholarly research.
Yes.
He did hands-on research in the
Yes.
motherland
Yes.
to determine the kind of principles that defined our people.
Yes, I went. Excuse me, I'm hoarse today, because I'm living in conditions in my own home because of not having our self-determination. Excuse me while I cough. I went to Kemet with Dr. Karenga.
Yeah.
I was so proud to say that with ASCAC, the
Yeah.
Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations.
Yeah.
We sound so harmonic.
I love ASCAP.
We went there with Dr. Ben brought us all there through ASCAC.
Yes.
And it was 1,000 of us that went there.
My.
And now when you go to, please people, if you can go to Kemet, you need to go and
That's
go with
right.
one of our scholars.
That's
you,
right.
you don't want to go with the Europeans, that is going to
Tell their story.
right, thwart our history and distort it.
Yes.
Dr. Ben, Dr. Malana Karenga.
My.
We were there with Dr. Leonard Jeffries.
Come on, somebody.
All of the great scholars were there. And we took our children. I want to thank ASCAC officially
Yes.
for changing me. Because once you go, you're going to see that the pyramids are not this little tiny backyard studio house.
That's right.
This is humongous. The first part of the pyramid, the stones are like way over 6 feet tall.
The genius
Tons.
of the pyramids is still defying the so-called experts
Yes.
who
And
cannot yet figure out
how they were built.
how they were built.
And the Japanese took their instrument of computers that we created to try to build a pyramid. But the people need to know that it is a lie that the Jews or Jewish slaves built the pyramids. The Jewish slave, there were no Jewish slaves. There were no Jews at the time, 4,000 years ago. And they found the graves of the pyramid builders. And they are black people, and they had tombs like the pharaohs.
My.
So you need to know that and research it. It is online.
Yeah, and Napoleon blew the nose off the Sphinx because clearly it's an African nose.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
This is the same Napoleon that tried to continue to subjugate Haiti, the Toussaint Louverture.
Yes.
And the brave Africans in Haiti had the last word.
That's why they don't want Haitian immigrants.
That's right.
Right
and
now.
the world, the Western world has been mad with Haiti ever since they beat France.
Once you go to Kemet, you're going to see statues about 60 feet tall with those fat noses that Alexander the Macedonian, because we don't call him Alexander the Great. That's Alexander the Macedonian,
That's
because
right.
he wasn't great to us.
That's right.
But you will see with your own eyes the carvings of instruments, surgical instruments.
Sure.
4,000 years old. You'll see the noses.
So the first doctors, the first archaeologists, the first architects, the first builders, the first universities,
Yes.
all of that came from Africa.
Right.
Civilization did not begin in Rome and
Or
Greece,
Greece,
which
right.
is what they teach in the social studies.
Exactly.
Those are lies.
They looted the library of Alexandrine and stole the papyruses, the books, and put their names on it.
There's some documents in the so-called Great Museum of England, the Museum of Great Britain, in which England claims they have, quote, manifest destiny, manifest domain over eminent domain.
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain over documents that they stole from Egypt. Egypt is Africa.
Yes.
It's like saying Highland Park is different from Detroit.
Right.
No, it's not.
Or that Highland Park is located in Oakland County.
That's right.
Because they want to take Egypt off the continent of Africa. But once you fly over and see
Egypt
that.
is Africa.
Right. It's right there on the continent. Come on
Egypt
now.
is Africa.
Yes,
we
and
know
they
why
want to
they,
take.
we
Right.
know why they want to separate Egypt from
Because
Africa.
it spawned civilization.
That's
It
right.
gave us civilization, a concept of God, goddess.
That's right.
The concept of religion.
Yeah.
The Sunum Bunum came out of Africa.
Come
That
on,
is
somebody.
Africa. The Sunum Bunum, the greatest
My.
good.
You better say it.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. So the impact of the Kwanzaa principles, the African principles, which are developed by Dr. Maulana Karenga,
Yes.
he really developed them out of the history, the principles of our people, out of
Yes.
the culture of African people. It's no conflict with Christmas, those who happen to celebrate Christmas or any other faith.
Yes.
It's a cultural holiday.
Yes.
It's not a religious holiday. It's cultural.
Yes.
So you can celebrate Kwanzaa and anything else you want to celebrate.
Right, exactly, and that's the beauty of it. It is a holiday rooted in our struggle and our self-determination.
That's exactly right. And Dr. Maulana Karenga, who was designated by the wonderful Dr. Mario Bedelli as the first minister of culture of the Republic of New Africa, and he did that in Detroit, where RNA was founded. It's significant that we in Detroit maintain that strong thread
Yes,
of honoring who we are. It's not
Exactly.
anti anybody else, but it honors ourselves.
and it
And we need to
celebrates
honor
us.
and celebrate our history.
Ujama, which is cooperative economics.
That's
Don't we
right.
need to buy from each
Yes,
other? And
yes.
that was Black Wall Street,
That's
Tulsa, Oklahoma, where integration helped break that down because racism kept us from being able to take our wealth out of our city.
That's right.
So we had to keep it within our city, and
That's
that's
right.
OJAMA, cooperative economics.
And we did that during a period when Black Bottom and Paradise Valley
Yes.
were the order of the day in Detroit before they put the freeway through all these 350 black businesses were dismantled.
Yes.
Dismantled.
And we
all-
got to be careful because right now they want to put that back together and they want to gentrify that. I said, well, if they broke up a black city, so to speak, a small city where you have black residents, all black businesses, and all black. That's what should be what it should be replaced with.
No,
Don't
well, they
allow
owe rep-
them to give
they owe
everybody else.
reparations because I remember, I was a toddler, but I remember those that backdrop of the black businesses where we had pharmacies and print shops, and we had our own businesses, and really. Black folks had their own businesses because white businesses wouldn't allow black people to patronize. So there was a reason why the Gotham Hotel, the black-owned hotel, was established.
Wow.
Where Beatrice Buck worked. She wrote a play called Paradise Valley, and she was a dear friend of the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young, and the godmother of Coleman Alexander Young II.
Wow.
Beatrice Buck, who worked at Gotham Hotel. When you consider that Berry Gordy's sister owned a printing shop in Black Bottom. See, these are family members he borrowed from to open Motown.
Wow.
See, we don't know. And
I don't
the
know.
first location of New Bethel Baptist Church was not Linwood and Philadelphia, where it is now. Reverend Dr. C.L. Franklin, Aretha's father. It was on St. Antoine,
What?
Black Bottom.
Wow. See, we're sitting at the feet of the elders right now.
But there were 350 black businesses, dentists and doctors. There was we had more black doctors in Detroit than anywhere else in the country during this period of enlightenment among black folks who came together, who lived together, who supported each other, employed each other. And the black dollar went round and round and
Round
round,
and round.
as it should.
The same with Detroit Mayor Coleman Young. God rest his soul too. That brother, I remember when Stress was riding around. Stress was a police,
Stop robberies, enjoy safe streets. It was terrible.
and they would ride around and just pull black people off the street and beat them up and
They
maybe
sure would.
kill them. And
It was the Big Four.
the Big Four.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And Coleman Young, Honorable Coleman Alexander
campaigned
Young.
against
Young.
Stress.
Yes. Oh, he did. Okay. And
Yeah,
then
that's how he got. That's one of the reasons he got
Okay.
elected. He also was a very bright. Mayor Young was. He was exceedingly
me.
bright, and when he took a test to enter for admission to Eastern Michigan University, he scored so high on the admission exam that he was offered a scholarship. But when he showed up, and they saw his color,
man.
the scholarship went away. And he ended up working at Ford Motor Company, working in the plant. He just took it, but he funneled his energy and his intelligence into the movement. Became active as the first executive director of the National Negro Labor Council, as an activist within the unions, helping to make sure they did the right thing by black folks who were union members. Made sure they were vice presidents and that there was equal pay parity. So if you were black working for the union, you weren't going to be making a different figure than white folks working for the unions. That was Mayor Young.
Well, that's why my father, he was a union representative in Chrysler.
Yes.
He wrote the first absenteeism program. I got a chance
Go
to
ahead.
help him. He was a firebrand, okay?
Go ahead.
But what Chrysler did, they got mad at him. He rose all the way up to management. He helped black men keep their jobs and to stop them from the foundry from destroying black lives. You know,
Yes.
they were losing their limbs,
Yes,
cutting that
and
hot
dying.
steel. Yes, and dying.
Yeah.
So he advocated for them, saved them, and
They
saved
needed
their
that.
lives.
They needed that.
And so that's where my fire come from. My
I love
dad,
it.
I helped
love
him
it.
write that.
My big daddy, my mother's father, worked for Ford Motor, the foundry out at River Rouge. He was the
Okay.
first black millwright.
Wow.
And was very proud of being a union member, and he knew that there was strength in unity and solidarity.
Well, I hope that our young people understand that racism isn't new or unknown,
That's right.
there is always racism at your job. Watch yourself. Be careful and be smart.
My
My
Lord.
dad had to when he advocated for our black people to get justice at the job place
Yes.
and to protect their lives and
Yes.
limbs. They told him, he rose all the way up to management. They told him, okay, sir, you got to stop doing that. He said, no, I'll never stop working for
Hey.
my people. So they told him, well, now we're going to send you back down to the foundry to work. He
My
was
Lord.
40-some years old.
My Lord.
My dad took one of these big chairs with the rollers on it, threw it through a plate glass window, got him a Jewish lawyer and a Jewish psychiatrist, and sued Chrysler, and lived happily ever after.
My. Well, you know, Mayor Young had to stand up so many times. He had to stand up in Congress against a racist who was calling him a Negro. He said, that's not the word. And I know what you're trying to say. The
On
word
the
is
slide.
Negro. And there, you know, there are videos of Mayor Young standing up to this white racist.
He's my
Senator,
hero
my,
forever,
my,
and
my.
all of it. You know, the reason why our children don't know, not only about Mayor Coleman Young and her Honorable Irma Henderson, is because our leaders, the leaders that came after them, so-called leaders that came after them, isn't vigilant about having certain buildings,
That's
and
right.
highways and streets named after them.
That's right.
And making sure that it is taught and they're honored in the schools. And not only that, but at ceremonies.
That's right.
At different ceremonies. Don't be at these ribbon cutting ceremonies. We can't cut a ribbon for a new project in Detroit without mentioning their names.
That's right.
And our people will want to, our kids are going to want to
That's
know
right.
about them when they hear the name and speak their names.
That's
they'll
right.
know.
That's right. Which is why we celebrate Kwanzaa.
Yes.
To help us embrace our principles, our culture, who we are, and love ourselves.
Yes.
There are many people of African descent who simply don't love themselves.
Yes, that's
They're
absolutely
filled
true.
with internalized oppression. They're filled with self-hatred. They think there's something wrong with them. They want to be something other than African. What is more beautiful than African?
Yes, and now everyone wants to be African. Everybody's trying to be like us.
And
Remember
the
they
truth
said,
is, everybody came from us.
Right.
We are the world's first people.
I'm telling the leader right. Okay.
We're the world's first people.
Amen.
All humanities came
From us. The oldest bones in the world that's been unearthed is unearthed in
African.
Africa. And they're over 1 million years old.
Come on,
The
somebody.
oldest European bones are like about 6,000 years
Come
old.
on,
That
somebody.
means, come on, let's do the math. That means everybody came from us.
Everybody came from us.
So why is there racism?
Civilization came from Africa,
Yes, ma'am.
which kind of tells you why there's always an assault on our motherland. And also, figuratively, you can look at why there's a constant assault against Detroit,
Yes. Oh.
because Detroit has been long held as a black city,
Yes.
as a city that could not be controlled by the institutional racism that was a mark of America.
And it was all it's all black. Everybody just about had a job before the fake bankruptcy. You
That's
either
right.
work for the school system, you work for the water company, you work for Chrysler, GM, Ford. We had beautiful homes.
That's right.
That we
Detroit
were
had the
able to
largest
keep.
black homeowner base in the country prior to the gentrification that began to overrule this city. And that happened as a direct result of emergency managers being implanted, forced upon this city by a succession of governors who ignored and absolutely reneged on the constitutional protections the city of Detroit had a right to. There never should have been an emergency manager over Detroit Public Schools.
Right.
The schools, there was nothing wrong with
There
the
was
schools.
nothing wrong with
They
it.
were just trying to seize the money that
Yes,
had been
ma'am.
approved by the
And
citizens.
the other thing is that they were mad because we were allocating contracts to black contractors.
That's right.
They got mad about that, and that we had our own radio station. That is powerful. Whenever anyone start a war against someone, for one of the first things you take out is the communications.
That's right. That's exactly right. But we own the right to handle our own.
Yes.
So we're communicating with our own. We're helping to lift up our own, helping our people to elevate their idea of who they are and whose they are.
Yes.
And being able to come together with 7 principles of Kwanzaa, from Umoja, unity, Kujichagulia, self-determination, having Ujima,
Ujama,
Ujamaa,
Nia,
Nia,
Kaumba,
Kaumba,
and Imani.
Imani, faith. All of those principles help to remember and remind us of our background, of our culture, of our heritage. And that's sacred.
Yes, ma'am.
That's sacred. And for little young people who have not been introduced to their background and their culture, for them to experience Kwanzaa this year, 2022, will be a blessing.
Yes, it would be. Every time we light that candle, because we have the Kanara,
That's right.
which represents 7 candles.
That's right.
And each day you light the candle. So for Umoja, you light the black candle.
That's right.
Because there's one black candle in the middle.
That's right.
3 green candles and 3 red candles.
That's right.
Commemorating Marcus Garvey.
You better say it.
Marcus Garvey, the red, black,
The
and
Honorable,
green.
the Honorable Marcus
I got the red,
Garvey.
black, and
You
green
better-
on.
That's right. You wearing it well, my sister.
Oh, yes. I create the red, black, green crowns and my earrings. and
Beautiful.
I'll be selling some there, everyone,
Excellent.
at the Kwanzaa.
Historic King Solomon
yes,
on 14th
ma'am.
and Marquette.
I'll be
6
there.
o'clock,
6 o'clock.
December 26th through January 1st.
Well, Saturday and Sunday, it'll be from 3, I'm sorry, is it 3 to 9? No, 3 to 6.
3 to 6
Yes.
on Saturday and Sunday. That's
Yes.
correct. But what a wonderful time for our people to come together and remind ourselves who we are.
Yes, ma'am. We've got to be creative, Kaumba. Let's be creative.
And we don't have to ask anybody's permission.
That's right. And
It belongs to us.
we self-determining.
That's right.
Self-determination.
That's right. Kujichagulia.
Yes,
Deals
ma'am.
with that.
And Imani, keep your faith, everybody.
That's right.
We winning this.
That's right.
We are winning.
That's right.
It's hard to see that you're winning in a war when you're fighting so hard all the time. You get kind of tired. It's like, when is it happening? And we didn't realize. When we look back, it's like, wow, we won that. Wow, we won that. We're going to win our city back. We're going to win our assets back. We want Belau. We want the water company. We want everything that was stolen from us. We getting that back.
Well, you know, there's a God sitting high looking low.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's not up to man what the end will be. There's a higher authority.
Wow.
And some of us are very aware there's a higher authority, and we've seen it become manifest.
Yes, just keep stepping, everybody.
That's it. That's it. We need to really focus on the importance of honoring ourselves, honoring Kwanzaa, remembering that when we come together, there's strength. 2 + 2 = more than 4
Yes.
when we unify.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I think there's an African proverb about how one stick is not powerful, but many sticks put together can hold back a lion.
That's
or
right.
Hold back an elephant.
That's right. That's right.
So with unity, you can accomplish anything.
That's right.
What the mind can conceive and believe, the mind will achieve. And that's what we've been doing for millions of years. Slavery is just a temporary part of our history that happened way later on. Our history is rich for 1,000,000+ years.
And it does not begin with enslavement.
That's right, and
It
then,
does not
then it's
begin
just a
with
small
enslavement.
part of our history. This is unique and a small part, and we'll win this like we've won other battles.
That's right. That's right. The significance of our history should take us well past the period of enslavement into the origin of humankind.
Yes, yes,
The
ma'am.
origin of humanity. All humankind began in the continent of Africa.
And each one need to teach one in your in your churches, in your homes, in your schools.
That's right.
Get the books. Get Dr. Joseph Ben Yakanan. Get his book, Black Man and His Family of the Nile.
That's right.
Black Man and Family of the Nile. Get Dr. John Henry Clark.
Mercy.
Go to YouTube and pull up some of their speeches. They'll tell you who we are, and they'll give you the history, so you won't know. You won't be sitting there wondering. You'll know the history.
When you consider how many times Dr. Ben came to Detroit,
Yes.
so many times.
Highland Park Community
That's
College is
right.
where I saw him at.
Dr. Leonard Jeffries, many times. to
Yes.
Detroit. Dr. Jeffries has been to my home,
Oh,
served him tea, him and Dr. Smalls, after one of their presentations here at the Lewis College of Business when it was open.
Yes.
Under Dr. Robert Bland. We've had so many greats come through.
Yes.
The Shrine of the Black Madonna used to host Pan-African scholars regularly back in the day.
Well, I was honored to be able to take a picture with Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
My. Genius.
Oh, my gosh.
Genius.
If I get the ISIS papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, she breaks down racism
Yes.
and the symbolisms behind it.
Yes.
It's very important that we understand what racism is. And her teacher, Neely Fuller, said that if
Yeah.
you don't understand racism, what it is, how it operates, then everything else you think you understand, in parentheses, everything you understand will only confuse you.
That's right.
You got to know why. And Dr. Welsing said the ISIS papers, the keys to the colors.
That's right.
And why is it that black men specifically is targeted by the police as well? I don't want to say what my brother Kafugu call them, but why they are targeted? They are targeted because they have the most potential to eliminating genetic white genetic the white genetics.
And it's also important for us to read and research and know our history.
Yes.
Because the first police forces in America were pulled together in order to catch runaway slaves.
Yes, yes.
The only sane response to enslavement is to run away and escape.
Yes, it was. I mean, if you didn't want to escape slavery, then there was something wrong with you.
Hey.
Slavery was brutal.
Come on now.
Our families were put on a slave block, separated and sold off. The terms sold down the river, that comes from that, because if you were sold to the South, you were going to catch heck.
The so-called father of American psychiatry came up with a phrase called drapetomania, which was supposed to provide the disease of people escaping enslavement. So you, the father of American psychiatry, you give a name,
disease?
Drapetomania, a disease for you escaping enslavement.
That's so.
That tells you everything.
That's ingenious, wicked ingeniousness.
Come on, somebody.
What happened in slavery was a crime. And a lot of people don't look at it like that, but it was a crime. If you
And
are
where there's a crime, there's a price to pay.
yes, ma'am. So reparations is number one on my menu.
That's it.
We want our money, and like Dr. King said, we're coming to get our check.
That's it.
Okay?
That's
and
it.
we're not going to take no for an answer. So here's a message to the city council and city council member Sheffield. She's putting together a reparations committee. We've been waiting for a year now to see what's happening.
The reparations vote by citizens in Detroit got more votes than anybody on the ballot. The reparations issue got more votes than anything else on the ballot. And the reparations issue had to be fought for. There were people that tried to stop it,
Yes.
tried to stop it from being on the ballot.
Ray Jenkins said it's a debt owed.
It's a dead old, it's not a handout.
Yes, ma'am. So Chase Bank, you owe, okay? J.P. Morgan Chase, Wall Street, the American government, these insurance companies, cotton industry, the sugar industry, tobacco, all you guys, you got to pay into a fund. And it should,
They grew off the backs of Africans who never got compensated for the horrific terrorism that was imposed upon them.
Yes, ma'am.
They were not volunteering to come to America. They weren't
Exactly.
waving their hands on the West Coast saying, come get us.
Right. Are we
They were-
happy to
they
be
were-
here?
They were kidnapped at gunpoint.
Yes, ma'am.
And the lies that are told about African people selling themselves into enslavement, that was a lie.
That was a lie.
That was a lie.
There-
What they did, they stole them in the same way that they brutalized Africans once they were here, and also during the Middle Passage. They killed many of the African chiefs in their villages. Anybody who tried to stop them from kidnapping, they would behead them.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
would kill them.
If you didn't accept their religion, and we had ancient African religions and spirituality in Africa that spawned and gave birth to the religions of today.
That's right.
That Dr. Ben teaches us.
That's
but if
right.
you did not accept Christianity, if you did not accept Islam, and if you did not accept their form of Judaism, then you were killed on the spot. You had to
If
get
you
rid
would
of.
not let them kidnap young, vital, strong Africans to bring them over here to work for free,
And that's why
you were killed.
That's why Africa is suffering today, because they sucked out all of our geniuses. They didn't steal slaves. They stole scientists. They kidnapped and stole. Now, just like
And no one is born a slave. That's
the
why we
modern
say
day,
enslaved.
modern day, right now, they have slavery to some degree, where they kidnap young women. I mean, here in Detroit, they kidnap them and make them, they call them sex slaves, make them sex slaves. And you don't know your baby is gone.
My Lord.
They're doing that today. That's a crime. If it's a crime now, it was a crime then, and we need to be compensated. The descendants need to be compensated.
That's why we come together as a people to celebrate Kwanzaa. We're going to take a short break, and then we will come back and share with our good sister, our queen sister, Tahira Ahmed, and she's here to help lift up the principles of Kwanzaa. Wake up, Detroit.
Listen up, Detroit. From now until the end of the year, citizens who are having trouble paying their water bill can sign up for a Lifeline program. Detroit Lifeline will eliminate whatever you owe on your water bill and also set up a new affordable rate. But you must act now. We all need water to live. Yet water shutoff put the health of all Detroiters at risk. To sign up, contact Wayne Metro at 313-386-9727. According to Water Department Director Gary Brown, they will cancel any existing arrears and lower your monthly rate when you enroll. Detroit residents enrolled in the Lifeline plan will not be in jeopardy of water shutoff. The moratorium on water shutoff will end on December 31st. Detroiters in the need of water assistance should enroll in the Lifeline plan by contacting Wayne Metro, paid for by we the people of Detroit.
You ready to put your podcast on iHeartRadio? Yes, your podcast on iHeartRadio. What about Alexa, Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, Android, or iPhone? Plus live TV streaming. Get your podcast seen and heard all over the world. Call 313-868-6612. Pre-recorded shows are accepted to be archived. This is a WHPR distribution platform. Download the app from the App Store. Go to WHPRTV.com. Channels available for lease 24/7 on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV. Coming soon, subscription and pay-per-view.
Also,
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM WGPR HD2. RadioWeCanSee.com.
up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson, and we're back with our sister Tahira Ahmed. Woo! And she's helping lift up the significance of Kwanzaa. We're going to be celebrating Kwanzaa December 26th through January 1st at the historic King Solomon Baptist Church on 14th and Marquette. And we're so happy to be talking about Kwanzaa. We also want to remind you, just as one of the spots you just viewed talked about the importance of Lifeline helping people who are water insecure keep their water on and have their overdue water bills paid or wiped away. You can do that by calling 313-386-9727, 313-386-9727. You should enroll because you only have until December 31st to enroll. And once you enroll, you are not in danger of water shutoffs because the moratorium on water shutoffs also ends on December 31st. We don't want any of our people to be subject to having their water cut off. Or why pay an overdue bill when you can have that bill wiped away by joining Lifeline? So you should call today. Call today. Time is limited. 313-386-9727. We're so glad that you are connecting with us And please, please, please call that number if you have an overdue water bill, if you're in danger of water shutoff. Please call and enroll in the Lifeline today, 313-386-9727. I want to ask our special guest, our sister Tahira Ahmed, to talk to us about all the things that have kept her such an activist in the movement down through the years.
Well, justice. I'm like Ray Jenkins.
I
You
love
know,
Ray
it's a dead
Jenkins.
old man. I hate injustice. I mean, I'm gonna use that word. It is strong. I hate the injustice that we have been facing. So why do we have a deadline on justice?
My mind.
We shouldn't have a deadline on that water justice because we've been overtaxed $600 million.
You better say it.
And our homes have been foreclosed illegally.
Yes.
These are generational homes.
And the water, the Detroiters have been paying retail rates for water. Retail, while the suburban customers pay wholesale.
Right.
You know the difference between wholesale and retail. Why is it that Detroiters who own the system, who paid for this water system, are paying the highest rates for water of something we own?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a disgrace before God.
And it's injustice. It's just
It's
like
unjust,
just
unrighteous.
like the robbery of our homes for illegal foreclosure.
That's right.
Now you're going to take my home, illegally foreclosed. That's the basis of a lot of the homelessness the new homelessness
That's
that
right.
we're seeing here in Detroit.
That's
the
right.
Mayor Duggan, has the power to stop this, and he refuses.
The money should be repaid to Detroit.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
money that
and-
was overcharged should be repaid, reparations.
Reparations. Give us our money back. We come to get our check, Mr. Duggan. The city council is doing something about it, but they don't have the power that the mayor has. So everyone needs
They
to
have
call.
the power if they would use it.
Okay.
You see, the council has the appropriation power. They have power over money. See, they ought to be doing more than passing out Spirit of Detroit Award.
Yeah.
Help
Exactly.
me, Holy Ghost.
Thank you.
And
Somebody
listen,
help me.
I used to do that too, but you need to also develop legislation to embolden your people, to elevate your people, to lift your people to higher ground. Detroiters, who are the majority, blacks who are the majority of the residents, ought to have economic impact that will benefit their families. They should not be 2% of the businesses in the city owned by black people. That's outrageous.
Yes, it is.
2%?
We remember when we had the mom and pop stores.
Absolutely.
We had all. I grew up in a time where there was very little unemployment, thanks to Coleman Alexander Young, our mayor, the Honorable Alexander Young. He made sure that our businesses were protected. He took care of the elderly and the children.
And he made sure there were black contractors.
Yes.
He made sure that there were black for every city department that was audited by a white CPA firm. He had a black CPA firm come through. He made sure that there was equity and parity. For every white department head, there was a black department head. For every male department head, there was a female department head. He infused equity and equality and fairness into city government. And that should be something that everybody should follow.
Well, on the internet, it says that Mayor Coleman Young was the one of the 5 greatest mayors in Detroit history.
Come on, somebody.
5 out of 5. He's one of the number
Yeah.
one.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Umoja, let's all get together and form unity. Call the mayor, today's mayor.
Let us honor Kwanzaa. Let's start today
Yes.
by getting our hearts focused on the Kwanzaa celebration, December 26th through January 1st. And we're going to join Sister Tahira and everybody else who's in love with the Kwanzaa principles in Nguzo Saba.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
come together to celebrate Kwanzaa for our people for such a time as this. Thank you so much for being our special guest. We're going to have you back again.
Okay.
'Cause we've only told half the story.
I'll be sleeping outside. I'll be sleeping outside, everybody, in my car.
We thank God for We the People of Detroit, our sponsor. We're very grateful to our sponsor, and we're also very grateful that they have put forth a very special spot to help our people sign up for Lifeline and Wayne Metro. We want everybody to call in to 313-386-9727. 313-386-9727. Enroll in Lifeline so that you can protect your water and so that you will not be subject to any water shutoff. And please do that before December 31st. Thank you for being a part of our wake-up call. Thank you very much, our sister Tahira. Thank you for being a part of our wake-up call. Wake up, Detroit.